welcome to the Book Bar, where everything bookish is on the menu. I'm Anjanette Barr, and today I'll be doing the end of the year book tag by BookTube superstar Ariel Bissett. All right, well, it is cold outside. This is definitely a cozy Saturday, and so my drink for today, because I always have a drink, is going to be appropriate. Hang on. Oh, okay. My husband got me the Costco, I can't even lift it up. See this? Okay, it's a wine advent calendar, which is all kinds of hilarious because this is a lot of alcohol, and I like alcohol, but like I'm not going to drink a bottle of wine every day in December. That's a little much even for me. So he gave it to me mid-November, and I've had a few of them, and so I'm actually on the right day today. So this is December 5th, so I'm actually going to get the bottle number 5 out. There's a little punch out thing here. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's a white, and it's called Shadow Dance, and it's from South Africa. Cool. All right, gotta get this box off with me, and then I'll figure out how to open it here. I think that I could do this advent calendar, daily almost maybe in December if I had other people drinking with me. Like if I had like my husband and a roommate helping me, because these are not full bottles. They're, how many ounces are they? Don't know, but they're not full bottles. But it's just too much to drink one a day. And my husband does not drink regularly. There is on day 31, or 30, how many days? 31, of course. I did peek ahead, and there is a bottle of bubbly for New Year's Eve. So that's exciting, and I will make him help me with that for sure. All right, I may drink more later, but we're going to start with this. Okay, let me pull up these prompts and get into the tag here. Okay, question number 1. Are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, so many. If you follow me on Goodreads, you'll just laugh a lot if you do. I think it says I have 48 books that I'm currently reading, and that's not really a lie. So at the beginning of the year, I remember saying I had 46 that I was currently reading. And then I have gone through, and not only have I read that many books, I have gone through and deleted some that I just decided I'm really never going to finish these. And I still have almost 50 books on my currently reading. What happens is that I'll pick up a book and I'll read a few pages and I'll mark it as currently reading. And then, I'll decide that I'm not going to read that one right now for some reason, but I don't take it off my list. So, well, because it helps me remember, right? It helps me like, oh, right, I was going to read that book. But yes, I am legitimately in the middle of several books right now. So I'll show you a few of them. So I started this one in the middle of the year, and a friend recommended it to me. Actually, it's her book. This is her favorite author, Sharon K. Penman, and it's historical fiction, and I'm about halfway through, but it's kind of a chunk. And it's also, it wasn't capturing my attention. I like historical fiction a lot, and I don't know a lot about this time period, and so it should be a good choice for me, but the style of narration, specifically the point of view, it was really kind of tripping me up. So I think I'm going to be able to get into this again and finish it. I'm hoping I can finish it by the end of the year. I'm not sure, but I at least want to read a little bit more of it. And then in October, my sister was visiting, and she told me I absolutely had to read this book because she was surprised I hadn't yet, and she bought it for me for my birthday, so I started reading it, but then I had already said I wanted to do Dracula as a buddy read in October, so I just made a video about that you can go watch. But I had to put this aside so that I could read Dracula, and I haven't picked it back up yet, but I was really enjoying it, so I definitely want to finish this one this year. And then this one, so I'm telling you, like, I mean, I know there are lots of readers like this. I definitely mood read, so I want several things, you know, available for me at once. So this one, I went to Seattle in May, and I had a long layover in the airport, or I was waiting for someone in the airport. And so I stopped by the bookstore that's in the airport, and I wanted to grab something short because I had only brought 2 books. A children's, oh, do you guys remember Animorphs? Maybe you're not old enough for Animorphs, but I think it's like making a resurgence. So I had brought one of the Animorph books to see if they were appropriate for my kids, because I don't trust my memory from when I was a child. And then I had brought Northanger Abbey, and I was just finishing Northanger Abbey. And then I finished that Animorphs book on the plane, and so I was worried that I was going to end up without anything to read, so I looked for something that might be interesting at the bookstore and grabbed this one because it was like on the staff recommended shelf, and it's very thin, and it's by a Japanese author, Takashi Hiraide, and so it's called The Guest Cat, and it sounded really cute. It's about some writers who are living just kind of a single life, working at home, and don't have any kids or pets, and then this cat, you know, makes themselves welcome. And so I'm about halfway through it, and it's, like I said, it's very short, so I think I'll finish this today or tomorrow, but I just finally got around to it because I did finish Northanger Abbey on that trip, but I also started knitting a shawl, and I can't knit and read at the same time. I needed an audiobook, and I didn't have one. So I want to finish this before the end of the year. I am also always listening to an audiobook, and I always have an ebook on my phone or on my Kindle, but I usually save my Kindle for when I am traveling. So right now I'm on my phone, let's see what it's called, Head Over Tails, and I'll put that on the screen, by Brianna Tibbetts, and it is a cute YA mermaid romance. And it looks like only 12% into that. So I am reading that, but it hasn't, I haven't gotten too far in. And then on LibriVox, which if you don't know about LibriVox, you should definitely check it out. There's an app and a website, and it is public domain books read aloud by volunteers, and some of them are super great, and a lot of voice actors will use LibriVox as kind of a portfolio builder or practice. And then there's just also lots of literature lovers who like to volunteer for LibriVox. So right now I'm listening to The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, and I'm listening to the version read by David Clark, which is awesome. I told my friend, have you ever fallen in love with someone that you've never seen or don't know anything about just because of their voice? Because she read this right before me. Such a great narration. And how far into that am I? Not very far, I don't think, because this book is huge. Let's see where I am. Okay, I feel like I've been listening to this for a really long time, but I'm actually only on chapter 10. So each chapter is like 20 to 30 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm on chapter 10. So I guess that is kind of a long time, but how many chapters are there? Oh my gosh. 93. So I'm going to be reading that, listening to that into the new year, definitely. Okay, question number 2. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So a lot of people do this tag earlier than now. I'm already in December. So I did read some autumnal books. I read Dracula, which was very autumnal. I did finish Anne of Green Gables, which was also autumnal. I feel like this one's pretty cozy, so that could be that. The other books that I'm reading, I'm not sure, but there's a question about that, so I'm just going to skip ahead. So The next one is there a new release you're still waiting for? So no, because it's December 5th, but there is a new release that just came out that I haven't read yet, that's not in my hands, that needs to be in my hands. And that is Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone by Diana Gabaldon. It's the 9th Outlander book, and it came out a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and so this has been hard for me. It's a sort of book that like I would just put all these books aside for, and I would read it, binge it as soon as it got to me. But one of my best friends who got me interested in the series said that I was not to pre-order it for myself. So I'm seeing her, if you watch this, Ariana, I'm seeing her on the 12th for a cookie decorating party, and I'm pretty sure we're going to exchange gifts, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be my gift, and if it's not, then I'm going to be scrambling, I guess. So it is not still coming out, but it did just come out. I know I could survive if I put it off until January, but that's not going to happen. So, okay, question number 4 is, what are 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? So I said I wanted to read 50 books this year, and I think I'm at 44 on Goodreads, but I know that I read, I didn't go back and look, 4 or so books that have not been published yet, so they're not able to be marked on Goodreads, that are yet, they weren't advanced reader copies, they're actually copies of their stories that I did developmental editing work for, so they're not being published yet. So I'm going to count those. I think I'm probably actually at 50 right now, or will be as soon as I finish like this one. But I want Goodreads to say 50. So I do want to read until I get there. So I have 3 books that I've chosen. I want to finish some of the books I'm already reading. And then I have 3 books that I have chosen in addition to these and the ebook. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to finish the audiobook. And I also will probably read the Outlander book. I just don't know. Since they're long, it's possible that if I don't get it till the 12th, who knows? Who am I kidding? I'll read it all in one day. But so I have these 3 books here that I'll go through one by one that I'm interested in reading. This one's the one that I'm least interested in, so I'm going to save that one for last. So my husband is a rock climber, and his birthday, actually his birthday is this month, but his Christmas present to himself is that he bought me climbing gear. So that eventually when we travel again someday that I can belay him. We have gone to the gym together several times, and I can belay him just fine, but I have to borrow the equipment, so he bought me my own, which means I'm obligated, obviously, to figure this stuff out, and I know that I'll enjoy it more if I have, like, a broader context for it. So I looked a while back. Actually, I heard an NPR story about, was it both of these? No, I think it was about this Jeffrey Archer book. It was about a book about climbing, so I think it was this one. And I thought, oh, I should really see if maybe my husband would like to read that, but I should probably read it myself. But it says in here, Publishers Weekly review on the back says, bestseller Archer pays homage to Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo in this delicious updating of the adventure classic. The author's first-hand knowledge of prison life and legal maneuvers helps to make a thoroughly enjoyable entertainment. And it also says in the front cover that this is the story of a man, George Mallory. Mallory once told an American reporter that he wanted to climb Mount Everest because it is there, quote and unquote. On his 3rd attempt in 1924, at age 37, he was last seen 600 feet from the top. His body was found in 1999, and it still remains a mystery whether he ever reached the summit. So the interview that I heard on NPR was like speculating on if this book, how true this book could be. So this is obviously historical fiction. But those 2 things together make me really intrigued. And so I want to read this before I hand it off to my husband. I just got a used copy, so if we end up hating it, it's no loss. But I want to read this and then give it to him for Christmas so that I can give it to him, and it'll be a present to him that I read it as much as it is a present to him that I'm giving it to him. You know what I mean? So this one's about climbing Mount Everest-ish. I mean, it sounds like it's about a really interesting guy. And then this one is The Push, A Climber's Journey of Endurance, Risk, and Going Beyond Limits by Tommy Caldwell. I actually can't remember if I heard about this one or if I was just looking for another book on Better World Books to read that was about climbing. This might have been like a cover buy because that's a great cover. But it says that these two guys, Tommy Caldwell and his partner Kevin, became the first ever to complete what is widely regarded as the hardest rock climb in history, a 19-day free ascent of the nearly vertical 3,000-foot Dawn Wall on El Capitan in Yosemite. So this is a memoir that chronicles the journey, and it says, mastering a route up the massive ocean of granite took more than 7 years, during which time Caldwell redefined the sport, found love again, and became a father. He is evidently considered like the best rock climber in the world, so I figure this is a pretty good memoir to read, and my husband will probably enjoy this a lot. And then this last one that I'll read if I have time. I just have it on my list because it's another short one that I just came across. It was recommended in a newsletter that my local bookstore sent out. It's by another Japanese author, so I thought maybe if I'm on a kick with reading Japanese authors that I'll enjoy reading them back to back. It's a different type of feel, but it also has a cat on the cover. Look how cute that cover is. So this is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's a novel by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and there's definitely a sequel to this that came out, I think, recently, and that one was recommended, but since I haven't read this one, I decided to read this one instead. But the little blurb on the front says, "What would you change if you could travel back in time?" And the little excerpt that was in the newsletter that came across during Black Friday was really interesting. It is evidently about a little coffee shop that's been around for 100 years, and it's in Tokyo, and when you go in, you have the opportunity to travel back in time. So it's a time travel novel by a Japanese author, and then there is a sequel. So, oh look, how funny. This has a review by a booktuber, Books and Bow. It says, it is full of soul, presented through clever world building and unfolding of its characters and relationships. Well, you guys on BookTube probably know more about this book than I do then. Okay, so then, what is this, question 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Yes, I think I've read some really great books this year, but this book is popular for a reason. And it took me, I don't know, 50 pages to kind of get in and really get absorbed. But I had definitely gotten there by the time I had to set this down. And I know that there is a movie coming out next summer. Reese Witherspoon is directing it. And she chose this for her book club and then loved it so much she decided she needed to make a movie. And I really want to, I always try and read the book before I see the movie if it's something I think I might really like. My sister loves it so much that I think it's possible that this could be my runaway favorite, but I read some really good books this year, so it will be really hard. It'll be interesting, January 1st or so, I'll make my recap of the year. It'll be interesting to look back through the list because off the top of my head, I can think of several really good ones. And then the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2022? Yes. So I have so many books, too many books, and reading 50 books a year, almost one a week seems like a good amount, but I have so many more books to read that I am feeling like that was not nearly enough. So one of my goals is to read more for sure. And then the other two goals that I have that I think I'll use to structure my reading time are really fun, and I'll make a TBR list for both of them. And one is that I have that poster, and I've made a video about it before, that's like 100 epic reads before you die, or 100 books to read before you die. And I've scratched off, it's a scratch off poster. I've scratched off several this year, and it's at a point where I kind of feel like I could actually maybe make progress on that. I originally thought in 2022 I would try and read everything that's left, but I think that's about 70 books, and that might be too much because some of them are tomes. They're, they're very long classics. So I am going to look and see how many I have, and then I'll let you know how many of them I'm going to try and read. Maybe I'll try and read half of what's left on my book, on my scratch off poster. And then the other thing is that I'm going to Scotland in July, and I want to read as many books set in or about Scotland as possible before my trip. So I have a stack of about a dozen of those, and I'm going to make a TBR video about my Scotland books. And yeah, I'm hoping that I can knock all of them out earlier in the year rather than later, so that when I get to Scotland I can buy a few more. And that is the last prompt. So thank you, Ariel, for making a fun BookTube tag. And I hope to see even more of my BookTube friends doing it. I think some of you have done it. I've seen a few that were more with it than me and did it a lot sooner than me. I had it on my list to do for my, I had a goal to make 50 BookTube videos as well as read 50 books this year, and I'm almost there with the 50 BookTube videos. I am there if you count the 6 videos that I made that are unlisted because I made them for my NaNoWriMo Young Writers Program students. I wanted to be able to chat with them, but we needed to do NaNoWriMo virtually, so I made 6 videos for them. So that took up some time, and I'm going to count those, even though they're not populating my general BookTube channel. So yes, I had it on my list to do, but I didn't get to it as early as I meant to. But you guys, January will be a year on BookTube, so I'll have to make a year celebration video as well, which means I've got a lot of videos to make. So I need to get to that, but first I need to finish these books. So thanks so much for watching, and thank you for being a part of my BookTube channel community. It's been super fun, and I hope that you subscribe so that you can see what's coming out next. And leave me a comment and let me know your answers to these really fun questions, even if you don't have a BookTube channel. Bye!